my answer to everything.
Hey guys, welcome to Pre-Foreclosure Daily Grind. This is this week's tip of the week. Pre-foreclosure tip of the week. Chris Bowes, Bob LaChance. How you guys doing today? This week's topic is going to be about setting seller expectations, and if you don't do it right up front, your deal will get smoked. It will not close, okay? And this is going to be a story that we just went over, or a deal we just finished up where, actually, it's closing today.
Yep, closed probably about 10 minutes.
It's closing in about 10 minutes, where we actually almost lost the deal due to the fact that an attorney got in the way. A bankruptcy attorney actually got involved in the process. Yeah. However, we had some great rapport. We did the right things right up front, okay, when we set the expectations right up front. And Chris and I both worked on this deal together. So Chris is gonna chime in back and forth because we both actually had conversations with her right up front. Okay, I met her, went to her house, got the property listed right away. This was a straight retail short sale deal, just right up front. It was a listing. We actually tried to do a wholesale short sale, but the BPO came in too high. Yeah. It's in a nice neighborhood, nice area, all that kind of good stuff. But anyway, right up front, what I did is I went to our managemyshortsale.com system. I printed up our seller expectations, what they'll expect after the deal closes. This is extremely important, okay? Because right up front, I had that listed out. I handed everything to her. She had questions about taxable event, taxable events, deficit judgments, all that kind of stuff. And everything was crystal clear. She was okay with everything right up front. Come, what, 2 months down the road?
Yeah, about 2 months.
About 2 months?
Roughly.
Yeah, we had a buyer set up. Everything was all set. We got the short sale acceptance letter. Lo and behold, the short sale acceptance letter said, you may be on the hook for a 1099, a taxable event. This is the call Chris got. So Chris, explain how you talked to her.
Yeah, well, she basically had questions and concerns because as Bob said, her attorney changed some
bankruptcy
things up on her.
attorney.
Yeah, switched some things up on her, told her some different things, put some ideas in her head, and so all of a sudden now she calls up extremely panicked. And basically, in a nutshell, I spent some time with her and explained to her that when you're talking about the deficit, the difference between what the bank is owed, their total payoff, versus what they're actually getting out of a short sale, that difference is considered a taxable event. It's considered income, and per IRS code, it must be taxed just as all of our incomes would be. So I explained to her that by law, her lender was required to send out that 1099.
And that was, just so you guys know, that was around $100,000 deficit, right, or difference there. So that would have been taxed on $100,000 in the state of Connecticut. Some pretty high taxes.
Yeah, pretty steep.
Yeah, pretty steep.
Yeah.
So, and so Chris, go on. Sorry about that.
No worries. So essentially, once I explained that to her, and I said that this isn't a situation where the bank is trying to come after you, and for the mere fact just to try to get more money and to keep making your life miserable. This is something that they're required by law, by IRS code to do, and so therefore that's why they have to account for it and mention it in their approval letter. So I explained that to her, but then of course went on. As some of you may know, President Bush had passed the act regarding taxes on deficiencies on short sales.
Primary homes. And
right, if it's a primary home, along with the rest of your documents to send in at tax time, the IRS has a form. It's the 982, Form 982, where basically it's an application, it's a request to have those taxes waived by basically verifying your insolvency. And
but again, I don't mean to interrupt you, but
no.
Again, Chris does a good job at this. He explains it to him, but he also defers and says, listen, we're not attorneys. Okay?
Or accountants.
We're not accountants. Yeah, we're not attorneys or accountants. So make sure you guys talk to your accountants, period.
Right, well, exactly. And that, of course, was, towards the end of our conversation, that was what I mentioned to her. I said, this is what I'm aware of. This is what I've, learned in my experience dealing with this. But when it comes to file your taxes and upon receiving these documents, I would definitely suggest and recommend that you talk to a certified accountant, talk to your attorney, because they're obviously they'll be more qualified to, dive deeper into these things than I would. So.
But the point is, you guys make sure you guys do know what could happen after a short sale is accepted, whether it's a 1099, okay, which is IRS code, or it's a deficit judgment, okay, which means that $100,000, the bank reserves the right to go after them to recover that. What they would do is they would sue them for the rest of it, and they'd have to go through, the whole legal process. Okay, so that's, they're either going to hit you with a 1099 or a deficit judgment. They cannot do both. So make sure you guys are crystal clear with your sellers there that they cannot do both. And if someone's out there saying they can do both, they don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Right.
Okay, so just do that. Anyway, guys, this is Chris Bowes, Bob LaChance from Pre-Foreclosure Daily Grind with your pre-foreclosure tip of the week. You guys have a great week.
This is my